back home to LAX. We still have, let's see, we got 3 hours and 15 minutes to go. 231 miles. So, quite a bit to drive. I probably flip this around now. You guys can see what we're doing, where we are. But we are just kind of cruising right now. Basically just enjoying the scenery, enjoying the vibes. Hopefully you guys can, everything sounds okay. This is a kind of like a Q&A live stream, so if you guys have any questions, just feel free to ask anything for either one of us, either me or Cameraman Dan. Yeah. Otherwise, you guys can just sit back, relax, and enjoy the scenery as much as we are right now.
Car's getting full, had 7 people in it. Hope you guys enjoyed the 2 live streams we did in San Francisco. Pretty epic flights. Yeah, a lot of good planes came in. On Friday we had that Hawaiian Airlines 787 depart to Los Angeles.
That was really cool. The first Dreamliner added to Hawaiian Airlines' fleet. That was pretty cool. If you guys haven't yet checked out that live stream on Friday, definitely go check it out to see that Dreamliner from Hawaiian. Quite a spectacular looking aircraft.
What was that other one? Was it China Eastern 787?
Yeah, the China Eastern 787. I think I have it as one of the thumbnails for our live. Always cutting out. Charles Bass. Oh, I gotta switch to that. Why does it disappear?
We'll just take my phone.
No, hold on. I'll shoot it here.
Take the phone off the thing. You can
No, you want me to
put me in my mirror. So I don't think they want to see a
welcome
live
to the stream,
video.
Charles Bass. You've driven this before? That's crazy. We've only driven this, what, maybe once, twice?
Done it several times, but not for filming.
Yeah, not for filming wise, but I think we've driven it before.
I prefer to fly it.
Yeah, it's a lot simpler, a lot easier. You just kind of fly to SFO.
Can they hear us good, or does it need to be? Do we need to yell louder?
That sounds good. Anyway, checking the audio, guys.
Which you should always be doing.
Yeah, I know.
Should always be checking audio.
204 miles until Los Angeles. That's I just said.
So what other destinations would you guys like to see us film from?
Yeah, if you guys have any suggestions on what other airports you'd like to see, we do have quite a few that you guys have given us, and we have considered them, but obviously we have to plan things out. But otherwise, if you guys have any suggestions on what other airports to go to, feel free to let us know. It smells like cow. We're in the farmland area.
I thought it was you.
Right.
I was like, Nathan, we gotta pull over to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Smells bad.
We got Montana, welcome to the stream, saying, how do you get the information on the incoming flights, like aircraft model, age, where it's coming from? We use an app that's available on the App Store and the Google Play Store, and also it's a website. It's Flight Radar 24. That's Flight Radar, the number 2 and 4. So Flight Radar 24. It's free to use for the most part. allows you to get the basic information like the registration number, the flight number, the company, the aircraft model type, and then you can pay a subscription fee and you can get access to just a little bit more information like the age of the aircraft and stuff like that.
Or it gives you weather overlays to let you know if it's going to rain at that airport you're filming at. It's kind of cool. You can see the clouds and the rain coming in, so you have a little bit of an idea.
So definitely recommend. There's other ones, flight trackers out there like FlightAware and Radar Box, but we mainly use Flight Radar 24 as our go-to. Those are our backup, the other ones, in case Flight Radar goes down, which it has before, which is not fun.
You're just guessing at airplanes.
Yeah, pretty much. Alex, welcome to the stream. Good to see you. It's raining over there. Rain's expected over here, but for the most part, it looks like white clouds.
Raining over where?
In where Alex is in the UK.
I've been to the UK. I've been to a lot of places.
The UK is dark and gloomy most of the time. Every place has their own weather. California right now just keeps going back and forth between hot and cold, which is not fun.
Yeah.
Yesterday proved that very well. First it was hot, and then I'm freezing a couple hours later.
But San Fran gives you unique weather. You know, you got the clouds coming over the mountain here, or the hills. The hills are green, so it's kind of cool.
Very bouncy. You guys want to take a look at the scenery real quick? Where we are? Again, just in the middle of nowhere. I don't actually have no clue where we are. This is region called, which one? Huron? Or near Huron. We're on the 5 freeway, heading back home. Still 3 hours and 7 minutes to go before we make any progress or anything right near there. It's gonna be fun. This is just a quick little live stream, just kind of see if you guys have any questions. See if you guys enjoyed the 2-day live stream that we did from SFO.
So yesterday people were asking requests to go back to San Diego.
Yeah. So we'll definitely try to hit up San Diego again. We only filmed there once, but it was a good first time. I gotta say, definitely a good selection of heavies there.
A lot of these airports, they're cool to go to, but it's just the vantage point of trying to film makes it difficult. Depending on the winds, where you can actually set up at. A lot of places in the area, they're either private property, or some of the airports, it's frowned upon. They just don't understand the plane spotting community like what we're doing. We're just there to film planes, but they're looking at more of a security issue. So a lot of those type of places are kind of difficult. So you got to kind of have to research it. You got to send emails to the airport operations to kind of see, you know, let them know who you are, what your plans are, and if they say, hey, we welcome you, or no, we prefer you don't do that, then that's how we kind of choose some of the airports that we go to. I mean, like Denver's a really cool airport, but that airport's such a massive property that it's very difficult because it's surrounded by a lot of farmland, again, which is private property.
So we'll definitely try to hit up some more airports in the future. It just takes a lot of planning and, of course, resources and money. So we'll try to go to as many airports as we possibly can. Of course, I still got school. I think mainly where we'll start hitting more locations is in the summer when I get off of school. And we'll see what we can do from there. Shark, welcome to the live stream. Good to see you. Teresa, welcome. Saying, always enjoy your stream. Dad is an excellent cameraman / person. Have a great day.
It's nice to be out here with Nathan filming. You know, his passion is, you know, since I did, as he explains, I've done 20-some years of aviation, worked for various cargo companies, worked my way up from just loading planes to station supervisor to load planner to station manager, and then flew around the world, pretty much anywhere on the planet you could possibly think of. I've been to some cool places, and I've been to some places where you just don't want to leave the hotel. You know, you're afraid that you're going to be kidnapped.
He's been to like places like that, like Afghanistan, Iran, Iraq, definitely places that, you know, you
North
don't.
Korea once.
North Korea. He's been to North Korea. In case you guys don't know, my dad has actually been to North Korea. So, very strict there, he said. You know, he can only do certain things. He can't walk about. He's being followed by what? It was a soldier or something?
Oh, yeah, I did. So when you fly in these planes, like, when I flew on these cargo companies, they usually have a mechanic assigned to these different aircrafts. So the schedule is myself and a mechanic, we work 20 days on, 10 days off. So that 20 days, you're pretty much anywhere in the world. The mechanic, he is with that aircraft from day 1 to day 20. And then he gets swapped out with another mechanic somewhere else. Loadmasters, you're not assigned to that one airplane. You can do 6 trips in a day, and then next thing you know, you're in a hotel, and now you're out again on a whole different airplane. So I've done stuff where I've been in mid-flight, and they call us on the satellite phone, and the company will tell me to get off in Ramstein, Germany, the air base there, stay there for a day, catch another airplane, you're going to Kuwait. I mean, it just, you know, you don't know day to day where you're going. You kind of have a schedule where you're going. But on top of that, you also have a lump sum of cash that you're taking with you, that you're paying for landing fees, fuel. But back in the day, they didn't have, or they had like wire transfers, or, you know, sign a check and, you know, app or whatever. Us as loadmasters, we carried large sums of money with us at all times. There'll be a bump here in a second. Hold on.
So when he landed in North Korea, you can just imagine the landing fee there. Because not every day do you get to land in North Korea. How much money did you carry for the trip?
200,000 in cash.
200,000 for the landing fee. All these bumps on these roads are not good. So you can only imagine. Charles Bass saying, how far are you guys from the runways in SFO when you set up? It seems pretty close. We're actually like what, a mile away?
Nah, like 200 yards from that.
200 yards.
From the one right.
Runways, but the 28's definitely
half a mile.
Yeah, half a mile about. So, but with our camera, we can zoom in and give you guys close-up shots despite being so far away. I think even at LAX, it's the same thing. They seem close, but they're really not in comparison.
Yeah, the parking garage, you seem like you're standing on the runways, but when those things land and taxi off at the other end, it's probably a mile and a half away.
Yeah, so when the airplanes land on the north side, when we're at the garage, and you see them all the way down at the other end of runway 24, the 24 is there a mile plus away, so, and you can see them up close, but that's thanks to the Cameraman's skills bring you guys that. Alex saying there's a lot of planning that goes into any trip. Definitely is, you know, resources, money, and stuff like that, and time. Alex also asking, how did your interview go yesterday, Nathan? It went pretty well. Unexpected, but went pretty well. The photojournalist was very surprised on how quick I was able to answer his questions. And he said the confidence I had in answering his questions is something he himself probably wouldn't even do, nor his daughter. So it feel good that I have that confidence. I would say not too long ago I did not have that confidence. I was scared of public speaking and stuff like that. But I think as not only just starting this channel, but also trying to break out of those my safe space, I think I have definitely made an improvement, self-improvement. So
I think that's why I'm behind the camera.
So yeah, I think the interview overall went well. He just asked me a couple questions on my thoughts about the incident that happened with 777 that our friend Callie Plain Sal got. So yeah. Shark asking, pretty good service, good deliveries, good selection of planes. And, yeah, yours being your favorite airline.
I mean, airline that I've flown on or airlines that I like?
Just overall.
I mean, I kind of like Southwest just because the flexibility of they fly pretty much anywhere. You get 2 free checked bags. With us traveling, that's usually who we fly with, just so it's easier to travel with equipment-wise. We do the upgrade, sometimes we'll do the business portion of it, just so we're the first 15 people on board, so I can have the overhead space. But otherwise, it would be Fiji all the way.
Fiji all the way. We got Jim saying hi, Nathan and Deb. Hi.
What's up, Jim?
SkyOps Aviation saying hello. Hello.
Hello.
We got Cathay Spotter joining us. Good morning, Cathay.
What's up?
He's waiting to board his American Airlines flight back to SFO.
Callie will be live today. You can catch it.
Making progress on our little trip here. I say little, but you know, not much. We got 2 hours and 58 minutes, almost 209 miles to go before we get anywhere near Los Angeles. So, yeah, we thought we would just hop on, create a little live stream here, nice little live Q&A, just not only to keep us entertained, but give you guys a little chance to ask some questions that, you know, I might not get to on the live stream, or we don't ask on the live stream.
Or even me, because I'm usually not in front of the camera.
That is true,
Behind it, so we mics recently to try in San Francisco, so that way I can be mic'd up with Nathan, so we can both, you know, talk and give our opinions. But we're having some issues with those mics, so we're gonna check into them and see if maybe it's something we did wrong. But if not, we'll buy some type of equipment, which helps when you guys do super chats. Well, that money gets saved, you know, for trips like this. It helps out, kind of offsets the gas, the, you know, snacks, the airfare, and so forth. So that helps out.
Yeah.
But we don't mind doing this stuff for you guys because we know that people out there enjoy planes just as much as we do. So we don't ask for those donations. They're greatly appreciated. So, you know, feel free to, you know, like, subscribe. But, you know, we try to do our stuff commercial free so you guys don't get interrupted with those commercials, just so a YouTuber can make that little bit extra cash. We're not here for the money. We're just here for Nathan and I, a little bonding. He does have a younger brother that's more into video games. So if I did a video game streaming, he would be in it. And then we got his younger sister, and she kind of does her own thing. But otherwise, it's just Nathan and I. We try to do 1 day a week. We try to squeeze in more if we can. I'm still trying to look at doing a Dad to Cameraman show. Those would be on Fridays from LAX. But they'd probably be anywhere between 4 to 6 hours live streams, just because I'd have to get back because of the traffic, and I'm by myself. You know, at least Nathan with us on the weekend. There's still traffic, but at least we can hop in the carpooling. So yeah, we enjoy doing this. You know, I know you guys want more from us, and we'll do our best to provide you more than just once a week, you know, 4 times a month.
Yeah.
So we do have some trips planned that others haven't been to yet to film. So I mean, like we did Atlanta.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
That was amazing. Definitely got to go back to that.
You know, and a lot of these trips too, you want to go to these places, but then you get there and it's like you're fighting the internet.
Yeah.
You know, every streamer has that same issue. You're fighting the internet demons. It's just kind of one of those things. So you kind of have to not just use one primary internet. You kind of have to have like a second or third, just to make sure that, you know, if you start dropping frames, you can get back in there, keep people on board. So a lot of that is, you know, those type of issues that every streamer has at these airports. But like I said, we got a lot of airports. Oh my God, if this guy stays in his lane. Well, yeah, we'll bring you guys some more unique airports this year. We got some cool ones set up. It's just a matter of, you know, Nathan gets out of school. This will be his last year.
That's crazy.
And then I work a full-time job.
Yeah, he did.
So once I'm free and he's free, we'll figure out a schedule and give you guys some stuff.
So again, guys, thank you so much for your guys' support that you've continued to show us. Not only these last 2 days, but the entire time we have been doing this live streaming stuff. Last December would have marked our 1-year anniversary. Shout out to Coca-Cola. He loves Coke. But yeah, last December marking our 1-year anniversary, and there's many of you that have stuck around since the very start. I want to thank you guys for that. You guys are absolutely amazing. Every time I see that person's username pop up, I was like, I remember you since like what, day 2 maybe? Day 1 was a little on the slower side, but I think after day 2 things definitely picked up, and most of you guys are sticking around, showing us your guys' support.
Remember our first video we did?
Oh my god, our first live stream.
That was funny.
That was
trial and error.
Trial and error.
We knew nothing about what equipment we needed, so we're kind of like, what do you think? How do we do this? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, like,
we went into this blind.
I don't know audio and that kind of equipment stuff, so it's kind of funny. We're like, okay, we need a camcorder, a tripod, okay. Wait, now we need wires and connections, and we just gotta get internet?
Yeah.
It was kind of funny. You gotta figure out, just trial and error, like, oh, you know, we need this. Oh, no, we don't need this. So we got stuff at home that we bought that we don't need.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like,
Figure things out as we go. We've definitely learned a lot this last year doing this, and there's still a lot
Fernando
more.
from FR Aviation, he helped out a lot. Cali Planes, he helped out a lot with, you know, giving us some input on setting up some stuff. So shout out to those guys.
A lot of other YouTubers that have helped us out, and we greatly appreciate the help. Right? It's a community. We gotta help each other out. So that's yeah. Let me catch up on the chat here. Linda saying good morning. Be safe. We definitely will. Good morning to you.
Morning.
Meta Football TV saying hey. Thanks for doing this, Nathan. The YouTuber follower interaction is really important, and this is a beautiful gesture. Safe journey home from Chris. Thank you so much, Chris. Definitely trying to give you guys a little interaction here.
So yesterday, Nathan and I, we went over to the YouTube headquarters. It's there just outside the airport. So we went there, took some pictures with the YouTube logo. So later, Nathan will post those pictures of us standing outside the YouTube headquarters. Kind of cool.
Yeah.
Big facility.
With our Next Gen shirts on. We got Teresa saying, Nathan, what are you studying in school with that smile? You could be a model. Right now I'm still in high school. I'm a senior, going to be finishing up my last year this year actually. So it's both amazing and also sad to think about. But then I'll be going to college. Most likely I'm going to start investing time into criminal justice, stuff like that. I have thought about an aviation type career, but I think I'm going to start looking more into criminal justice. So,
Police helicopter pilot.
Police helicopter? I don't know about a helicopter. Helicopters are still kind of scary to me. But
You went up in a helicopter.
I know, went up in a helicopter. It still kind of sketched me out. But I think the main job I probably want to get is either as a law enforcement officer or something in forensics, CSI, maybe like a crime scene photographer or something like that. I know that's not a job for everybody, but you know, I'm willing to dip my toes into it and see what it's about. Do appreciate the complimentaries. I don't usually smile too often, at least when I take pictures or film. But I think it's alright.
Any other questions?
If you guys have any other questions, let us know. I'll show you guys the scenery real quick. We are still in the middle of nowhere. I don't think the scenery has changed since the last 30 minutes. Let's give you guys an update on the time. We got 2 hours and 49 minutes. Yeah, still 197 miles to go. So, wow. Still quite a bit away. The next major city we'll be passing by is Bakersfield. So, we'll be coming across that pretty shortly. Hopefully see some civilization. I don't think we've seen it for the last hour.
We did see a car fire, though.
Yeah, we did see a car fire. If it goes back around, you guys can see us. We did see a car fire. Kind of made things a little bit longer.
Kind of tragic to see the family standing on the side of the highway here in the middle of nowhere and their car's smoking.
Yeah.
Fire department was on scene.
Completely gone. Like, it was just the metal frame left of the car. So, very unfortunate scene for that family. That's just basically stranded in the middle of nowhere. Obviously, CHP going to do their best to assist that family, but definitely quite the sight, and adding a little bit of time to our trip. Hold on. Let's see here. Where'd you take it out? Just lay out of the map. Give us 1 second. Look what Dan the cameraman decided to get. The Airbus A350 Fiji Airways, a 1/200 scale model, an amazing model that we're definitely gonna put up as soon as we get home.
End of the collection.
That's an collection airplane. And then I have mine, a little bit smaller, and that is just a little A380 for Emirates. There's that. A380.
So you get us to 10,000 subscribers, Nathan will give you that plane.
Who knows? Maybe we'll do that in the future. We'll get a model and give it away. Why not? I gotta put the bags. Things heavy.
Chat, any questions? How many people are on there?
Nice little man. Definitely, I wish personally we could film a little bit more, but obviously school comes first, right? Can't just randomly be taking off days of the week to live stream, and of course, as a cameraman, like I said, full-time job. So we'll definitely try to pump out some more live streams, but in the meantime, it's going to be mainly every week on Saturday until things start to even out a little bit more time available.
Yeah, I'd like to change the camera, get a nicer camera. I mean,
It has been a thought right now to upgrade the camera, giving out a little more extra
yesterday we did do a 2-camera setup, so like a
double cam.
but maybe we'll do one like behind the scenes. We'll just try to make things a little better as we go along.
The Amtrak Capital Corridor asking what highway are you in? We're on the 5 freeway.
5 south.
I am south, heading back to the Los Angeles area. I'm going to be coming up to Bakersfield in just a little bit, I think. Actually, we're still quite a bit away. Probably in the next 30-ish minutes. Should be coming up to Bakersfield. So that gives you a rough idea of where we are. Still in the middle of nowhere. Semi-truck after semi-truck. Always thought like being a truck driver would be cool, you know, just traveling the country, seeing different things. But it would have to be if you guys want to see anything added, like if you think that we should change something.
We are working on our intro, outro. I mean, we have one now, but we're going to kind of fine-tune that a little bit. Make that a little bit better.
Work in progress. Always trying to make the streams better, guys. And that's why we always want your guys' input and see what we can do. Jim, yes. Due to daylight savings, we have sprung forward an hour. So, kind of probably got a lack of sleep. Just a little bit. So, what's like is the real time, right? This would be like how it normally would be if we didn't have daylight savings. And then the fall would fall back, so that makes sense. Because not everyone does daylight savings. So, it makes things a little confusing.
Oh, like 7 o'clock this morning, it was still dark out.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Which normally the sun was coming up, so. But when it gets, the months move along, then the sun won't set here. It'll be like 8 o'clock at night, and the sun will still be out.
In Alaska, that the sun over there, the way the time works is like no other since you're more up north, right? I remember going to school in 2nd grade in the dark, but it's like 8 a.m. So it could be 8 a.m. in the morning and it looks like 9 o'clock at night. And of course it's Alaska, so it's freezing. So I'm all like, bundled up in my snow gear, walking into class.
Like a starfish.
Yeah. Yeah, so just imagine that, going to school at 8, but it looks like 8 or 9 o'clock at night, just because around winter time, that's what happens. And then when it gets into like the spring and summer, it's the opposite. You could be going to bed at 9 o'clock at night and the sun's barely setting. Like, that's just what it looks like.
It's still daylight at 2 in the morning.
I know.
It's still light out.
So it just like, it never truly gets dark.
It was funny when I first visited there. When I worked for Coletta, I went there as their station manager. So I stayed at the hotel. There was a TGI Fridays in the parking lot. So I worked all day. I was tired. I went to sleep. I got up and wasn't sure what time it was. So I went downstairs and, they greet you up in the lobby, and I walked out front. I'm like, man, it's weird. It's like there's hardly any cars driving on the roadway. So I walk over to TGI Fridays. I yank on the door and it's locked. I'm like, this is strange. Look inside, it's all dark. I'm like, what's happening? So then I go back in the lobby and I asked them, hey, how come TGI Fridays is not open? They said it's 2 o'clock in the morning, but it was still daylight out.
So, yeah.
Something to get used to.
Yeah, it is. Do you have any interesting, experiences flying about? Like, any, cool stories?
Where do we start?
In case you guys don't know, Daddy Cameraman has traveled around the world when he was working for the Iberia Cargo Airlines. He worked around the 20-something years of experience he has for Atlas, Polar, Hire Cargo, Coletta. So, do you have any cool stories?
I mean, there's several. Just when when I worked for Polar, and then when they got bought out by Atlas, there was that confrontation between Atlas and Polar pilots. And so us as loadmasters, we're just there to do the job, regardless if it's a Polar plane or an Atlas plane. We're just there to get your plane loaded safely, because we're flying on it. We want to make sure the load's safe. We're not going to have a load shift. We all get from point A to point B, no issues. But when you're wearing your Polar shirt, I've had crew members come on board and tell me, hey, you work for Polar? I said, yeah. And I go, you got to take that shirt off. This is an Atlas flight. It's just little things like that make it kind of rough. I'm just there for the safety of the flight, to make sure that, we all go home the next day. But I mean, flying wise, I've been to some places that were kind of sketchy. You know, you fly to these places. A lot of it's you either commercially to catch up to another aircraft, and you get there and you're kind of by yourself. It's the first time you've been there. You know, I mean, I've had an experience where I was in Bahrain, which is next to Qatar, and I had to go to Amsterdam to pick up an aircraft there. So they came and picked me up, took me to Bahrain Airport or something nearby. And the company, instead of flying me from point A to point B, they flew me from point A to W to X, back to T, back to W, because they wanted to save a little bit of money. So they flew me from Bahrain to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. My bags were checked in all the way through to Amsterdam. So when I get to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, before I left, I asked them if I need any visas or entry type of things, and they said, nope, you're just transiting through, you don't need that. But when I got to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, that was a whole different story. I got there, when you come out of the terminal, there are jet bridges. When you come out, like here in the US, when you come out of a plane out of the jet bridge, you walk out at this huge massive terminal, you know, you see everybody waiting for the next flight. Well, there, they have these glass tubes. Yes, I'm driving with my knee, by the way. They have these glass tubes, and you come out, and they go down. There's escalators or steps that go down. And then it goes into an immigration hall where everybody's at. Around it is this big glass window that all the passengers are in. So you can't just come out and go over and talk to somebody sitting at the departure area. You're separated by a glass window. So I get down there and I'm like, well, this is great. I see my ticket counter or my gate for Gulf Air that I need to take. So I get downstairs, I talk to some guy, I went and stood in line. I get up there and the guy's asking me, where's your visa? And I told him, hey, I'm just transferring through. He throws my passport back on the table and motions me, he goes like that, like, go away. And I'm like, where do I go? He goes, go away. I'm like, well, this is great. So I went over and talked to some guy that had a machine gun type of thing. I asked him, and he points to immigration. So when I'm standing outside the immigration thing, there's these two officers inside the immigration office. They're yelling at this guy, and they're banging on the table, and they're yelling at this guy, and end up handcuffing him. So now I'm standing, I'm next. So now I'm like, wait a minute. Did he just go through the same thing I did, and he's now going away? So I got nervous, and I'm looking around, and I'm watching the people come down that the glass chute, and it comes down. Well, there's this other area that has like the doors open, like a glass door that open, you come down. But this one kind of opened up into the upper terminal part. So I don't know if there was people there that wanted to come back down or what. So I kept watching that, and as the next flight arrived, I grabbed my bags, I stood at the bottom of that. When that door opened, I was a fish going backwards up the stream. I made my way up through all these people. As soon as I get to the top, some guy grabs my arm and yanks me off to the side. This is a security guy. And he's asking me what I'm doing. I told him I need to go right there. I'm like not even 10 feet from the gate that I need to catch my flight on. And then the guy brings over an agent, and I explained to him what was going on. You know, I'm just transiting through, I'm not from here, and this and that. So he ended up helping me. But he told me I need your passport in order for me to get the ticket for you, because he said Gulf Air ticket counter don't open for another 12 plus hours. Your thought of handing over a passport to a stranger in an airport is nerve-wracking, knowing that he probably means well, but now you're in a foreign country, in the terminal. Have you guys ever seen that movie Terminal? That would have been me. So I'm handing him my passport, and as I'm holding it, I'm gripping the end of it, he's gripping the other end of it. We were kind of like tug-of-warring, because the thought went through my mind is like, if I give him my passport, what if he leaves and I never see him again? So eventually he says, you know, I'm going to take care of your ticket, you know, just hang out here, you know, upstairs, I'll take you. I'm like, all right, well, at least I'm by the gate. I give him the passport. He disappears. So now I'm walking around the terminal up top in this little area, Here's these guys walking around with these machine gun things. So now I'm hungry. So I walk over, and they have pastries, coffee, and I'm like, sweet, I can get something to eat. So I go to pay, and the guy only wanted the money from the Saudi money. He didn't want no US, didn't want no credit cards, no nothing. I didn't have any of that. There was no order to exchange it upstairs. So needless to say, for 12 plus hours, I got nothing to drink or eat. So make the long story short, the guy who had my passport, I see him by the ticket counter area, and he's helping this lady with her bags and everything. And I'm like, well, that's nice of him to, you know, help them down the jet bridge with their suitcases and all that. I'm like, that's pretty cool, you know. They don't do that in the US, you know, the gate agent doesn't help you kick your bags down to the terminal, you know, down to the jet bridge. So I'm looking out the window and I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool, you know. And then next thing you know, I see the jet bridge pulled away and I'm like, huh. Well, I'm gonna ask the guy when he gets back, you know, what's the status of my passport and my ticket. Well, the guy never came back out of the jet bridge. So I asked the ticket counter lady that was standing there, hey, where did that guy go that just left? And he said, oh, he went with his family. They're going on holiday. You guys ever got to a point where you get like, not excited, but like, where you feel like your whole body turns to like hot, like you're about to pass out? It's this guy. So then finally, another guy, a lady tells me, oh, he gave your stuff to another ticket agent guy to get your passport. So again, I'm sweating, trying to figure it out. Well, my phone's running out of power. So I go to charge my phone. My charger works, but where they have the charger stuff is, it's in the floor of the terminal next to the seats. Well, it's about 1.5 to 2 inches in the ground because that's where they hook the vacuums in at night. Well, my cord, my little prongs are only this big, they're not this long. So needless to say, I couldn't charge my phone or talk for anybody for a while. So then after about 12 plus hours, the gate agent guy finally comes around with my passport. I'm like, oh, so excited. I'm like, oh, thank you, thank you. He hands it to me. Yes, I was all excited. I get ready to board and get on the they're calling last passengers to get on the plane. Are we losing people, by the way, by me talking? So then I go to open up my passport, and guess what? It's not my passport. It's not my boarding ticket. Remember that heat I was telling you about? Yep. Now I was starting to see spots. Because I thought I was going to pass out. So I'm freaking out. I go run around the corner. The gate agent guy's standing there and he goes, I'm just kidding. Here's your passport. He gives me the real one. So then I get on the plane. We leave. All right, on my way to Amsterdam. Doesn't end there. So as we're flying, coming on approach, this lady next to me starts making these noises. And you know, they dress over there with the parkas, whatever they put on. So then she starts yelling out. She has her hands in the air. She's yelling, ah! And she goes and gets up and starts walking to the cockpit of the airplane. The guy that's next to me, he gets up and he walks to the other side of the ramp, walkway to the front of the airplane. So now I'm thinking, oh, this is great. I'm not going home. So right before landing gear's down. These people are standing up in the aisle of this aircraft. And I'm thinking, what is happening here? So then they tell these two people that were right next to the exit to get up and take their seats. They had these two people sit there. And then when the door opened up, they popped up like nothing happened and went out. So I think they did it because they were so far back of the plane, they wanted to be the first off or something. So yeah, that was all in one day. It was a day from hell.
Wow.
Yep.
Crazy.
That's one of many stories.
One of many.
And no, that day I did not have the $200,000 in cash with me. I wish I did because I probably would have bought a jet with it and left.
Crazy story. Did not end.
You could have been born in Saudi Arabia. I airport itself, or like country?
I would say like airport, like terminal wise, like check-in, like easy and stuff like that.
I mean, Dubai is really cool because you get off the plane in Dubai and they have very exotic cars sitting there, and they have gold, like legit gold that you can buy right in the terminal. But that was pretty cool. If you ever get a chance, anybody that ever wants to go to Dubai, very safe place. Very, very nice. Yes, warm in the summertime. There's this fine dust in the air. But very cool place. Airport-wise, I mean, I don't know. I've been to many.
What's like your top 3?
I mean, I've been to Amsterdam, but that wasn't an interesting story as well.
What's up with the Amsterdam?
So myself and a mechanic, we land. We're stuck inside the airport because we, just loading and unloading the plane. We had some time to kill, so, again, you gotta pass, the paperwork to exit out of the terminal. So we're inside the airport. We go to this little pastry place. I asked the guy, hey, do you have any, Coca-Cola? And I said, do you have any Coke? The guy leans over the counter and asks me and my friend, what kind of Coke are you guys looking for? I was like, wait, what? Coke, man, Coke. What are you talking about? You guys all know about Amsterdam. So that was kind of a shock. But going back to favorite airports, the ones in Japan are pretty efficient. Everything is on time in Japan. And if it doesn't go on time, they'll make sure that they apologize up and down and like, hey, we made a mistake. But everything there's just very in order. Singapore airport is pretty nice. Changi Airport, humid, but very nice place. I've been to Stansted in London. That one's pretty cool. Been to a lot of military bases around the world. I mean, I've stayed in several of them. I've been in Bagram, stayed there, and you hear bombs going off outside the airfield. Been to Bagram, been to Kandahar, been to Masharif, which is northern part of Afghanistan. Australia's pretty cool. I've been to Sydney, Melbourne, been to Darwin, which is the Northern Territory of Australia. Been to Bangkok. Been to, where else have I been? Been to Thailand. What is part of Bangkok? Manila. Been to Georgetown, which is just outside of Malaysia, and they got these kimono dragons. They're like huge. They're like the size of a dog. But they're actual like dragons, a big old tongue. And yeah, that was kind of freaky. Seeing those walking around by the airport.
What's got to be the most exotic place you've been to?
Most exotic one that I can think of is Diego Garcia, and that's an island that's used for military, and it's in the Indian Ocean, so it's south of India. So if you look at your maps or your Google Maps, you go south on that, it's Diego Garcia. It's a little atoll. That's where they have the B-1 bombers. So I picked up a load of cluster bombs on a flight out of Okinawa, Japan. Flew to Singapore for fuel, and then over to Diego Garcia. You got to call out, I think, 2 or 3 hours prior to landing, because if you don't, you're now a artificial reef, because you'll never make it there. But once you land, I think we had 15 or so fire trucks surrounding the plane. They offload the bombs, they put them right on the bomber, off they go to Afghanistan. So it was pretty cool to be there. I was joking with the guys one day and asked if I could get my passport stamped. They're like, oh, only if you stay here. Well, the next time we went there, we actually broke down, so it was kind of cool because we got my passport stamped. But they said, whatever you do, stay out of the ocean because it's full of coral and there's a lot of sharks. But you know me, I went and walked on the coral, cut my foot open, blood gushing out, We didn't see any sharks though, but well, it's kind of a cool place. It's probably one of the most exotic in the middle of nowhere.
Alex mentioned that beware of their chocolate brownies. They have a secret ingredient.
Oh, yeah? How does Alex know?
Excellent question.
Lost people. That's my stories.
It's jumping. Alexander, good morning. Alex said not telling you. Spill the beans.
Spill the beans.
If you have any questions, this is a live Q&A, so if you have any questions, let us know that either from me or doing the cameraman. I know there's probably more questions going towards him, because, you know, he's not the one talking in the live streams. I hear him in the background here and
So I
there.
have something cool for you guys. Did you guys know on a 747, so next time you see anybody that's streaming, not just us, but anybody that streams, the next time I stream, I'll try to film it for you and see if I can get it. When those 747s come off of the runway and they turn there off of Lima, and they make that hard turn, did you know that the center landing gear actually turns? You would think it was just the nose, but you gotta remember, it's kind of like your car or a semi-truck. When it turns, it kind of rotates. Because if you're taking a plane that's that heavy, and you're going to make a left-hand turn with it, or a right-hand turn, and that center doesn't move, you're gonna snap all the gear off. So if you ever watch when somebody focuses on that, I'll try to catch it here next Saturday. But if you watch it closely, you'll actually see the all center gear will actually rotate with the plane. It actually moves. It doesn't turn like the nose gear does, but it'll turn. So that's kind of cool.
Any other interesting facts about aircraft that maybe not everyone would know about? Maybe like little fine details you can look
I mean, cargo planes are kind of cool because that's pretty much what I've worked. I've done passenger stuff before for United Airlines. Cargo's kind of cool. I mean, you can take anything and everything. When I first saw it, I was like, wait a minute. That car fits in there? And I've loaded cars, I've loaded semi-trucks, not the trailers, but just the semi itself without the smokestack. That'll fit on a 747. You wouldn't think a full-size cab of a semi-truck would fit on there, but it does. You have to build it on a 20-foot pallet. So the pallet's 20 feet long by 96 inches across. Metric people, I don't know.
What's the most like interesting thing you've carried on a cargo aircraft?
I mean, I've done horse charters. I did nothing but just horses on the plane. I've done a cattle charter, I think out of New Zealand. And we actually had cattle in the belly of the airplane, like where your suitcases go. We had pallets in there. Those pallets there, you can load those lengthwise. They are 125 inches long. Widthwise of a cargo pallet is anywhere either an 88-inch pallet or a 96-inch by 125. And then you can only build it up as high as 64 inches. That's the max height of a cargo belly of an airplane. Then you got your bulk section where you can put your longer stuff in and so forth. And then I've loaded a turbine for a cargo ship out of Honolulu. It was like the motor. And that thing, we loaded it through the nose, and it went from the nose to the back of the airplane. That's how long this thing was. It took up the whole length of the aircraft down the center of the airplane. So now when you're doing weight and balance on an airplane, that's a lot of work. I suck at math. Somehow I got a job that I have to do all these equations for. You know, what pallets go in what positions to balance out the airplane. You know, but you always try to balance the airplane more nose heavy than center. If you have like one stop, let's say you're flying from LA to Honolulu, it's not that critical where you really load the plane, but you got to remember once you start loading the plane, plane and put all that fuel on. They have, when the plane is weighed at Boeing, it's the empty operating weight. That's the plane with just the airplane, like the basics on it. You know, the water, the flight crew,
hydraulics.
Yeah, minus the fuel, minus the cargo. The crew is already included in that weight balance. Any additional person on the aircraft, doesn't matter if you're a 100-pound person, 400-pound person, doesn't matter. You're put in as a 200-pound person extra, as a PAX. So now you're adding to the weight of the aircraft. Now you got the basic operating weight. Now you're throwing on people, not including catering, because that's kind of part of the airplane. You just kind of average it. You have the flyaway kit. Flyaway kit is on a cargo plane, if it doesn't have a nose opening, that consists of big giant toolboxes with all the tools that the mechanic needs to pretty much fix that plane anywhere in the world in a remote location that he doesn't normally would have maintenance show up and say, hey, I need you to do this, do that. We carry oil for many days, hydraulic fluid, everything you can imagine. Thousands of dollars worth of tools are kept on that airplane. And depending how the plane's configured, there's empty aircraft, not empty, but aircraft tires, spare aircraft tires for the nose, the main gear. We're carrying that on board. That now is standard flyaway kit. If they need to chug on 2 more tires, I have to add that to the weight and balance because that's an additional weight added to the aircraft. Once you start throwing on the pallets, you got to have an idea of how much cargo. So again, on a cargo plane, it's either, you can't have max fuel and max cargo. You have to have one or the other. So if you're doing a short haul from LAX to Honolulu, you can max that plane out to the gills. Some of those planes weigh 240,000 pounds just in cargo alone. Yes, 747's forgiving, so if you don't have an accurate weight of a pallet, you know, like they weigh it and it says 1,000, but you know, they threw on a last minute thing and it weighed 500 pounds. It's not going to make something happen to the plane. It's not going to throw off the weight and balance. The plane's forgiving. Now, if you're doing 10,000 pound difference, the crew will notice it. They'll notice it on takeoff because when the plane takes off, it should start lifting off by itself, depending on how you loaded the plane. That's how they set the stabilizers and flaps and so forth. So when you're loading the plane, you try to load it from center gravity, heaviest to lightest. Makes sense. On a short trip. A long trip, when I would do the weight and balance, I would always find out what the fuel load is on my next longest flight. So let's say we flew from LA to Anchorage. Not taking any cargo off. And I'm going Anchorage to Singapore. LA to Anchorage is only going to take X amount of fuel. But you're taking on more fuel from Anchorage to Singapore because of the longer flight. So I would put that load in my weight and balance. Now when I start loading the plane in LA, I'd make sure I start loading it nose heavy. Because as the airplane's taking off, it's nose heavy. Once it starts burning fuel, so now it's in that glide slope. Because now the weight's more distributed. I mean, it burns it off better. But the reason why I said you want to load it like that with your fuel load out of Anchorage to there is, let's say I loaded it nose heavy out of here, or vice versa. I guess you want a little tail heavy. My bad, it was actually tail heavy. Remember, I haven't been doing this in years.
Yeah.
So when you fly to Anchorage and you put on that fuel load, and that plane's already nose heavy because the guy in LA loaded it that way, and you put on 300 plus thousand pounds of fuel, that's probably about 60 plus thousand gallons of fuel that you're putting on that plane. Well, that's all bringing the nose down. Now if you're on the envelope for the takeoff, now you're out of balance because the guy in LA, he loaded the airplane so good that he wanted it nose heavy that he didn't care about the guy in Anchorage to go to Singapore. So now you gotta have a crew come out and unload half the airplane to switch 2 pallets around to get the plane back in CG. So that's happened before in the snow. So I always tell these guys, when you load it, and It's just a tech stop, which means fuel stop. Load it accordingly with the heaviest fuel load. Do your weight and balance off of that. And then when it's time to get the flight plan, change it to the real flight, the real fuel load. That way, when it goes to Anchorage to Singapore, you don't have to worry about anything. You're good to go. So there's that type of stuff. You just got to figure out, where to load. Let's see, pallets on a 747. Depending on the configuration, you can hold 30 pallets on the aircraft up on the main deck. So yeah,
The Queen does a lot.
Queen does a lot. Yes, it does.
Have you loaded anything other than the Queen? Like 767, 777s?
I've done 767, whatever, for Aloha Air Cargo out of LA. I loaded that. I've done 727s. Those are pretty cool. Did those in Hawaii, inter-island flights. I've loaded DC-8s. So DC-8, you got to put a metal tail stand on the rear of the airplane because the plane likes to hop off the ground. Or you put a tow tractor on it and throw a strap or a big cargo strap around like a tether.
Yeah.
You want to tether it down. You want to hold that thing down. Because those pushback tractors weigh over 100,000 pounds. So you got that 100,000 pound beast pushing out that plane that's weighing at 300,000 plus. Cool stuff.
Quite the job. Is there a reason why you got into the airline industry? Like, was there like a spark or something?
Well, my mom lived in Arizona. She would take us out to Sky Harbor. We'd watch planes fly over. That was pretty cool. I've always wanted to work for airlines. So when I applied back in the day for America West, went through the process, and they said, "Oh, well, you're not qualified. You don't have any experience. You're not qualified." I'm like, "Well, how do you get experience if you don't hire somebody?" So once I moved to Hawaii, flipping through a phone book, saw an airplane on the front. It was Aloha Airlines. I'm like, I'm going to work for an airline. So I ended up working for a ground handling company that handled Continental, Philippines. I don't remember the other airlines that we did. And then that's how I went from there to cargo, because somebody said, "Hey, there's this company over here that loads cars onto an airplane." And I was like, "What?" So I went over there and checked it out. I'm like, "Well, that's pretty cool. That looks fun."
Alex is asking, have you ever worked with water bomber? I don't even know what a water bomber is.
That's that one we saw in LA that day, that DC-10 or whatever it was. Yeah.
I didn't know that's what they were called. Let's give
Wondering why this vehicle with the red and blue lights have been following me for the past 3 hours. Strange.
So we still got 2 hours and 8 minutes to go. 141 miles. Chugging along.
Well, thank you for those people that stuck around and asked questions. This is your time. If you want to ask the cameraman airline questions, I'll try to do my best I can, or try to remember a lot of those details. Oh, police car.
I think we're pretty speeding.
No. Driving the speed limit.
Guys, got any last minute questions? I think we're gonna wrap things up here pretty soon. If you got any last minute questions, let us know, either from me, Cameraman Dad. Obviously he has a little bit more experience than I do. But hopefully everyone enjoyed this little live stream thing we decided to do. Trying to give you guys a little Q&A, ask us some questions, and also keep us entertained, because not much to see out here, as you guys can see. Just flat roads as far as the eye can see. Nothing but farmland. It smells like dirt in the air right now. I don't know how many people can relate to this, but if you've ever been on the played a California Adventure in California, when you go through the savannah scene, that's what it smells like. It smells like that one scene. But yeah. Alex Sank still flat. Yep, it's been flat for quite a while. It was all few hills.
In Kansas or something.
Yeah, it's very, very flat. We're in the rural area of California right now. Still chugging along on the 5 freeway.
We'll be going through the Grapevine. That gets kind of steep.
Bakersfield is coming up to our left here.
Well, it's probably already going to go at an angle. Yeah. We'll go from 2 lanes to I think 4 or 5 lanes. Here pretty soon. How many people are on there now?
6. There's a right there.
Right there. That big old building was. Anybody have anything else?
If you guys have any other questions, let us know. Otherwise, we'll be calling it a little stream here. And I'll leave this live stream up, so if anyone wants to come back and check it out, you guys can.
Or comment, ask questions in there.
Yeah,
I'll write you back.
Comment any questions on the live stream if you have any, and I'll get back to you guys. Yeah. But otherwise, guys, enjoy the rest of your guys' day. Hope you enjoyed the live stream and those 2 amazing days at SFO. Definitely got to make
Dirt
a
bikes.
return back on those dirt bikes. I mentioned the racetrack.
That's cool. The ambulance standing by.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll definitely make a trip back to SFO. And as we mentioned San Diego, we'll definitely try to hit up San Diego again. But it's all about time. It's all about school, his work. So
Phoenix will have to wait because it's starting to get warm there, so
Yeah.
some places will have to wait.
yeah, wait for things to cool down a little bit, right? But yeah, thank you so much to everyone joining. We'll be live next Saturday from LAX. And until then, I'm Nathan and Cameraman Dad signing off.
Bye, guys. Which one is this?